Yeah. Today's episode of Covered in Dead, the podcast with my friend Melody Walker from Bertha, Grateful Drag. Yes. Also, Grammy Award winning songwriter. Talk about that a little bit. That's really good stuff.
We're just gonna jump right
We're
in with
just
that.
jumping
Boy.
in with the goods. Well,
Uh,
it was just like it's hard to go anywhere else when I say that, Grammy Award winner. That's pretty, something to be proud of. Good on
it
you.
is pretty cool. Yeah, I've been writing songs my whole life. I've been, an educator, a performer, a lead singer, a backup vocalist. I've done all the stuff,
Yeah.
and it's pretty cool. I've been getting into co-writing with my friends here in East Nashville, mostly, kind of since the pandemic. And yeah, ended up writing a bunch of songs with Sierra Farrell and Molly Tuttle and people like that, and the kind of roots music Americana scene. And Sierra swept the Grammys.
Yeah.
Everything she was nominated for, she won, including for Best American Roots Song for a song called American Dreaming that we wrote together. So I
Yeah.
got to go up and join her on stage, which was really an incredible moment.
That's so cool. Congratulations.
Thank you.
In this world that we're in, especially, like a lot of the focus of my podcast, especially, is Grateful Dead focused with artists who cover the Dead, either, getting on the bus whenever they get on the bus, but playing the Dead music. So it's nice to highlight people who, are in both pools of, you're outside the pool of Grateful Dead with your own thing, which is very successful. And I watch your Instagram. Melody writes songs, right? That's the name of your Instagram. And boy, does she write songs. Boy, do you write songs. I like that. Oh, girl, do you write songs? I like that better. But
We do both around here.
yeah, all right. But it's really cool to have that energy, and be so successful in that. I'm terming successful as a Grammy, and maybe that's not what makes success. We know
Yeah,
there's a
right.
there's a lot more to it than that. But
That's just one industry
the fact
award.
the
Super
fact that I
encompassing.
know one of your songs, that kind of says something. You know what I mean? Like
That that's all I care about. All I
that's the
care about.
success,
That's
right?
all I care about is whether
Good.
this is a cover songs podcast, right?
Yeah.
And what I'm in the songwriting game for is for people to sing the songs that I've written or helped write.
Isn't that
Um,
perfect?
yeah, that's I'm in it for the glory, for the glory. And so, um, yeah, it means a lot to me that a lot of those Sierra Farrell songs and a lot of the Molly songs, because she's in the bluegrass scene,
Yeah.
end up being covered. I get sent videos all the time of like little kid bands at bluegrass camp singing Crooked Tree or singing, you know, Sierra Farrell songs. So
Wow. That's really cool. Crooked Tree, that's one of yours.
yeah,
You
Molly
wrote it
covered
with
the song.
Sierra.
It's a Molly Tuttle song.
Oh, it's a Molly Tuttle. My bad.
Yeah, yeah.
It just showed my ignorance right there. But I now
And
I
Molly won a Grammy with that album called Crooked Tree.
yes. Okay.
What's funny is that was maybe 3 or 4 years ago,
Okay.
and at that time the Grammy rules had changed. I think they had been that way for about like 10 or 15 years, that songwriters are not recognized with Grammys on winning albums, only for
Okay.
if a specific song won.
Right.
So for the Molly record, I was not. It was, I called myself Grammy adjacent for a while, which I just find hilarious. And so that's what I was going with for a while.
Right.
But they recently changed the rules back, which is really cool.
Okay.
And as much as I'm like, well, I could have had a Grammy, I guess, a couple years earlier if that was the case, um, it's so great that they changed those rules back, because I think that songwriters should be recognized.
Sure.
If you
Sure.
write, 3 or 4 songs on a Grammy-winning album, like that album
Yeah.
wouldn't have won without the songwriters. And
Right.
so I'm
It's
so
good.
glad that we're
It's
going to be
good.
recognized again. And there's going to be more Grammys to hand out, because some people feel like an award loses its cachet if you dilute it with too many, handing out too many participation trophies or
Oh,
something like that. But I'm all about the more the merrier, right? And the Grammy means something still, and so if we can get more people to be able to win who have made real contributions to music,
yes.
benefits everybody in the music scene.
That's
So
right.
I want to see more Grammys.
Good. I like that too. Yeah, it's nice to acknowledge folks. A lot of the, like you said, the show that I do is based on cover songs. The radio show, I play the covers, but it's also, I also shout out to all the songwriters on every song, because I find that's an important acknowledgement. Like, these songs just didn't appear. Somebody took the time to craft it. And whether or not the Dead changed it, or Bertha Grateful Drag changes it,
Mhm.
that's your prerogative. But the fact is, there's a songwriter there. Let's give a nod. So I
Right.
like that.
And, it's interesting. The Grateful Dead is a very co-writer band, right?
Yes, right.
All their stuff is co-written pretty much.
Yeah,
Um, and so that's really cool too, because that's kind of a classic way of writing songs, It's
yeah,
kind of a pop way, kind of like a 50s and 60s way for radio hits.
right,
But I
right.
feel like rock bands started going more toward, single writers,
Yeah,
in the 60s and 70s, especially with rock and roll music. Um, it was more about the single writer with their perspective. And it's
yeah,
really cool that the Dead is all about the co-writes.
yeah.
They're
That's a
so
good
special
point.
because of the co-writing.
Yeah, I'm learning about the relationship between Jerry Garcia and Robert Hunter, but then there's some songs like that Bobby wrote with Robert Hunter. Maybe they didn't have the best relationship, but yet then there was John Perry Barlow, who, like Bobby and JP, they were there growing up, and schoolboy chums that went on to write later in life together, and some of the most incredible Grateful Dead songs. But yeah, that co-writing, that team, that partnership, it's nice. I often welcome that in my world, because I don't know everything, and I want to know, give me some of what you got. That kind of collaborative
Oh yeah.
effort is so jazzy to me. So it excites me, the collaborative spirit.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
if you're in music long enough, and if you've been songwriting long enough, you start to get sick of your own shit.
Yeah,
So
right. Another song in B. Damn it. Let me do something. No, I'm kidding. But
exactly. And so it actually so inspiring to get someone else in the room and they play something and we're like, I would have thought of that. And this
yeah,
sounds so much better. I'm so tired of my own
yeah,
jokes, And
right.
then hopefully I'm doing that for them too. It's like one person's trash is another person's treasure.
That's right. And you are. And that's the beauty of the partnership or the
Yeah.
collaborative effort. I'm just flashed to seeing you at the Bearsville. I'm pointing because it's back there, but the Bearsville Theater blew my mind show. And you went out there and played all Grateful Dead songs. And the fact is that you make them your own. Your Peggy O that night gave me goosebumps. I've
Oh, thank you.
never heard it sung like that before. I've been singing Peggy O a long time. You schooled me. And that's another way that I get very excited in this Grateful Dead pond that we're in the pool of GD family, which is kind of like learning from our peers. And
Yeah.
I can recall several times during your show, besides having to close my mouth because my jaw was on the floor, okay, but your interpretations are very much your flavor as who Melody is, or and so on, and and Mike and the rest of the band. That's just so phenomenal. I should say that. You should probably talk a little about Bertha Grateful Drag for this
Yeah.
podcast, but I would have to say congratulations for really putting the emphasis on your flavor in what is an incredibly tight band, which you are doing such justice to their music, but your flavor is so off the chain that it's so nice.
Thank
So
you so
nice.
much. It's cool because we're all, various performers and artists and songwriters with kind of long careers in music at this point. We're
Yeah.
all mostly in, circling 40-ish, Some people are
But
like
you're
55-ish and some
in
people are
Nash.
like 45-ish.
I'm sorry to talk over you, but you're around Nashville area, most of you.
So
Okay.
we're all seasoned musicians who
Yeah.
were, attracted to Nashville for various reasons from other places.
Right.
How Nashville is, nobody's from here really. It's very rare to find a native.
Right.
And yeah, the music people here are really on another level, and it really, when you move here, you get really intimidated at first, and then you either up your game
Yeah.
or you freak out and you get out.
Right. Right.
And so I think we're all people who came here as, fairly good musicians from where we were from, and we
Uh-huh.
became even better when we got to Nashville.
Yeah.
And I think that exactly what you're talking about, everyone has worked on their individual artistry and flavor and
Yeah.
a musical point of view. And so we bring that respectfully and reverently into
Yeah.
Bertha.
You do. You
And
do.
you know, that's what we're doing. We're trying to like ride that fine line of the sacred and the profane a little bit, you know,
Yeah.
like the reverent and the irreverent, because obviously we're a drag band as well. So campiness and
Right.
performance is part of it. And some of the songs really lend themselves to that.
Yeah.
Loose
Right.
Lucy, come on.
Loose Lucy. Right.
The characters are so fun and you really want to embody them. And some of these songs are egregiously horny too, like Loose Lucy.
Yeah,
So it
they
was
are.
just really fun to get into that energy and to honestly, like, you know, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. What happened to the sex in the
Right.
Grateful Dead? Let's go. Not everyone in the band agrees with me on that, but Daddy Bertha's gonna keep it horny and keep it 100 all the time. And they always put me on those songs. So I
Maybe
do
that was
believe
another reason I liked Peggy-O so much. I don't know, but I felt the sex in that like seeping off of that.
oh my
That
gosh.
sex
Well,
and love.
Peggy
It's like
is
it was more sexy than sex, but it was
yeah.
sexy, you know. But it
Yeah,
was so
Peggy
no,
is like
yeah, no,
a
no, no,
sacred.
not the lyrics.
That's one of those sacred cow songs, Peggy-O. And I actually have a really hard time singing it. I'm always like, am I doing justice to this like,
You are.
very,
So
very
that's
ballad?
I'm gonna
You
invite
know?
you into this mentality I've shared with my friend Liv, who's playing the Jerry Garcia role in Brown Eyed Women right now. Liv Zutphen, an incredible player. She did play the Bobby role for a little while, but now she's in the Jerry role. But I say to her rather, you can say to yourself, thank you, brain, for sharing. You don't have to buy in everything your brain thinks. You can thank it for sharing. So I'm going to tell you to say that because your Peggy-O was fire. And you're the way you know, roll off the line in like that sexy, sultry way. That's very much like made me go like, you know, maybe a swing, but you know, at the same time, you know, but also kind of like, wow, that I haven't quite seen a sexy Peggy-O, or you know what I mean? Like I haven't quite felt that in that song yet, you know? So
I
that
hope I'm not making it too sexy. I
oh
mean,
my God, no.
it,
I maybe we shouldn't even I'm not saying a should because that's a
okay,
guarded word, but you did a great job and you made it so much a felt song. I felt your Peggy-O.
well
And
that's the whole thing.
and your
Is
talent of singing comes across. Okay? It really came across.
I
Okay.
mean, I maintain that Jerry Garcia is the original diva. Okay. Like Jerry is an incredible vocalist. Jerry is a sexy vocalist. He
Yes.
is sultry,
Yes.
nasty, and
All of
tasty,
those.
and all of that stuff. Like I learned so much from Jerry Garcia's phrasing and the way that he
Hmm.
endlessly iterates and never sings something the same way once. You know,
Yeah, right.
I love that. I'm the kind of vocalist who loves to play. I come from a background of a lot of different vocal styles, honestly,
Yeah.
but I studied jazz for a while, and that's the whole point is that you're doing your own version of the melody, you know, and you're
Yeah.
doing it. And the Grateful Dead is jazz for sure. And so I'm always trying to do that and ride the line of making sure that you still got the melody, you're still hewing reverently to it, but
Right.
you're adding so much feeling into it and so much like believability. Really, to me, it's about that authenticity, that believability. It's like, are you really fully embodying this in the moment where I believe what you're singing to me?
Yeah.
That's all that matters. And
The
Jerry
emotion.
does
It's
that.
Jerry had the emotion. I could feel him. He would stop everybody in the Coliseum or the Garden or wherever it was I was seeing him, JGB, whatever. Like we were all on the edge of our seats, and it was emotion from the crackle in his voice to the way he sang that line, sugary, to the way he sang that line, and sitting in limbo, whatever it was he was singing, and there was this beauty and this rawness that, yes, I think is very much a part of why I fell in love with Jerry Garcia and his singing and his abilities up there leading the band. Yeah, well said. But yeah, your band is great. Talk more about how you got together. How'd you get together? I think I know a little bit about this because when I saw you on Jam Cruise, and I was completely smitten with your band and you, by the way, but we know this already. But you were just so graciously telling me about, you know, how Brown Eyed Women had something to do with, you know, your beginnings. So
definitely.
let's talk about that.
Okay, so coming out of 2020, um,
Right.
mommy Bertha, Caitlin Doyle, and myself, Daddy
Love you
Bertha,
and Caitlin.
we were the two cis women in the band. We both had our bands end in 2020. Decide to get off the road. The bands we had previously been touring in.
Okay.
She was in a blues duo with her ex-husband, and I was in a bluegrass band. Um,
Love.
and our bands ended in 2020. We made our last albums. We put them out. We said hiatus.
Right.
I hate us is what I like to call hiatuses.
I hate it.
I hate us. We're going on I hate us.
I hate it.
Um, so our bands had gone on I hate us,
I'm writing that down.
and
Yeah.
um, and we were like looking for joy. We both had felt like we had lost the plot a little bit
Okay.
pre-pandemic touring.
Sure.
We didn't realize how much we were just kind of, dissociating and phoning it in and doing the thing and doing the capitalist grind with music, and that the thing that we supposedly loved the most and that was a part of our identity was somehow dying in us. That's really
Oh yeah.
dark,
Yeah.
but we were just kind of spitballing ideas, and we thought about, what's like a fun side project thing we could do just in town.
Yeah.
Sometimes people do really fun little things at dive
Right.
bars here in
Right.
Nashville. They're all great musicians, and they're coming together for like maybe a covers night or something like that. That'll happen a lot. And so we decided, oh yeah, let's do like a Grateful Dead covers night or side project thing that's maybe all women, and it's like harmony focused. Okay,
Right.
so we came up with this concept, and then I was like, well, there's this band already that's doing that called Brown Eyed Women.
Yeah. Right.
And I also knew about some friends in the Bay Area who were doing it. They were formerly called the China Dolls, and
Yes.
now they're called the American Beauties.
That's right.
And so I was like, okay, there's already some people doing this,
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so I feel like we need a twist, right? Because nobody needs another Dead cover band. I mean, we need endless Dead cover bands, but
Yeah.
also like, we're interested in doing something that hasn't been done before.
Right.
And we're like marinating on this idea. And then a few of our friends, they, a few of our friends who were dudes said that they would be jealous if they couldn't be in this band, because they wanted to do a Dead
Right.
cover project in Nashville, just kind of like an all-star thing with friends of ours who are good, who are Deadheads. You sort of like find each other over the years,
Yeah. Right.
in the music scene here in East Nashville. I would say
Right.
it's like 50-50. I like to call it like the other closet is the Deadhead closet within musicians, because some musicians hate the Grateful Dead,
Oh yeah.
and then half of them like really fuck with the Grateful Dead.
Yeah. Right. Right.
So we talked to a few friends about this. We were just sort of talking around town about it, and a couple of these guys were like, "Well, I want to be in the band." We're like, "Well, it's an all-girl band, so you can't be in the band, okay, man?" And then we just made the joke, well, if you get in drag, you could be in the band, I guess.
Yeah.
And then we are like, wait a second, wouldn't that be incredible? Like a drag Grateful Dead band.
Yeah.
Caitlin and I were both fans of drag. And for some reason, the idea just like made sense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I
And
do.
I don't know who said it. We were literally like, we were on the phone together talking about it. I'm pretty sure she was pretty blazed. I don't know if I was. And we were on the phone talking about it. And we're like, yeah, it's a drag Grateful Dead cover band. Yeah. And it's like, it's called Bertha, and everyone's name is Bertha. They're just all, it's Bertha on the drums, Bertha on the keys, Bertha on guitar.
Yeah. I love that too.
And
Daddy Bertha, mommy Bertha, baby Bertha.
well, we didn't come up with that until later, but the
Okay.
whole idea was like, okay, maybe if we're all called Bertha, it could be like a rotating cast. It could be like this sometimes
Yeah.
special project that happens in Nashville. Everyone's named Bertha. The lineup is rotating. And so we still didn't do anything with it. We thought this was a hilarious idea. We thought like the Merry Pranksters would have loved this.
Right.
Um, and then the state of Tennessee tried to ban drag performance,
Oh.
anywhere that
Yeah.
is a public space or anywhere that is under 21 years old. They said, we can't be having drag in these streets, which really was a lot of people think was an attempt to ban pride
Yes.
in Nashville, right? Because
Right.
it's not always what they say the law is about. These
Right.
Republicans are trying to dismantle our rights in really
That's
sneaky ways, and
yes.
Project 2025 and the Heritage Foundation, all this stuff. They're
That's
very
right.
sneaky, okay? And they are trying to erode our rights constantly in the name of Christian nationalist theocracy.
Yeah.
So, obviously, we're not down with that. They tried to ban drag here, and we were like, maybe we should just do a one-time benefit.
Yeah.
We had a
Right.
reason to do it. We're like, cool, we'll make it a benefit. We'll do it at Dee's Country Cocktail Lounge, which is like this little dive bar that's run by all women.
Wow.
And we did it. It kind of went viral in the dead scene. Like before the show started, they were getting calls from out of town, like, how can I get tickets? I'm coming in from Atlanta. I'm coming in from
Yeah.
Louisville. People were
Nice.
driving like 5 hours away to come see the show.
Yeah.
So they ended up setting a ticket link. They never did ticketing before at D's. I think Bertha started it. They set up a ticket link, and
That's cool.
a bunch of people came in from out of town,
Right.
and it sold out like twice over. Like they were able
Wow.
to kind of turn the house. Like if people left, they could let more people in. And then they always have a live stream ever since the pandemic at D's.
Right.
And the live stream was popping off. It was like thousands and thousands of people watching around the country.
Nice.
And it was rough, girl. It was like our first time we got together, like, I think like 90 minutes,
Right.
maybe
Yeah,
two
you
hours.
rehearsed.
We
You
stretched
rehearsed
it.
before that.
Oh yeah, we
Yeah.
rehearsed. And the band was whoever was available for this date. So,
Right.
it was a lot of people who are in the band now. But I was at the very first show, I was like the Bobby guy
Oh
and
yeah.
the keyboard player. So
Really?
half the time I played Bobby, and then half the time I went back to the keys and played some
Wow.
keys.
Oh, I want to see this.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's rough. We've
You're
come a
like,
long way,
oh,
baby. We've come a long way.
okay. You guys,
And
your band is incredible. Your band
we
is
had
incredible. Yeah.
we had Lindsay Lou in the initial thing. The initial idea was three-part female harmony up front.
Right.
This concept. And so
Sure.
it was Caitlin and myself and Lindsay Lou, who's an incredible songwriter and in the jam band scene.
Great.
Um, but Lindsay Lou has her own thing going on. So
Yeah.
she really couldn't commit to doing it after that. She did that and one more video session with us. And then she had to peace out. But luckily I had been trying from the beginning to get Mike Wheeler, who
Yeah.
is baby Bertha, the tall blonde drink of water.
Yeah.
I had been trying to get Mike in this band. He just was not available for the first show. So we had to make it work without him.
Oh, he
Mike,
didn't play the first show. Okay.
Mike grew up in Vermont, actually best friends with Rob Eaton Jr. So
You,
Rob
you,
Eaton's son from
yeah.
Darkstar, who's the Bobby guy.
Yeah.
So Mike has been like almost like apprenticing at the feet of Rob Eaton since he was like a teenager.
Yeah. Great.
In the jam band world. He had like a little jam band with Rob Eaton
Oh,
Jr.
yeah.
Um,
Love that.
and so those guys are like besties.
Yeah.
And he came up, he's seen Darkstar hundreds of times.
Right.
Okay, so Mike is a true deadhead and true Bobby guy. So
Yeah.
he really, it takes a special kind of person who wants to actually really dive in
Yes,
to
it
the
does.
Bobby of it all.
It does.
It is no joke.
It's
you
no
know?
joke.
Like
It's
we're working on like Sailor Saint right now, okay?
ooh, nice.
We're always trying to get new repertoire for each tour, building
Sure.
more repertoire.
Excellent.
Slowly and surely. It's a lot to work on, as you know.
Yeah.
So we're digging into some hard ones, but
Nice.
Mike really knows how to step his up,
Yeah.
do this thing.
Oh my God. Well, first of all, when I met you all on Jam Cruise the first time, you were all in drag. It was like we were getting food at the whatever, it was dinner or whatever it was, right? So we're all in there at the buffet or whatever.
Getting
And
soft
then,
serve.
pardon?
Getting soft serve.
Yeah, getting soft serve. Are you kidding? I came back a different size. I had so much soft serve while I was on that.
That's what I love about cruises. is
I
the
know.
soft
I
serve.
can't wait to go back. But what I will say is I saw you all in drag, and that's how I met you. And then it was the next day, and you didn't have a performance, so you weren't all in drag. And we're like I'm like walking late night, and you're like, hey, and I'm like, I don't know who this person is. I didn't recognize you or Mike or anybody. because it was, it was a big change,
And we always forget that we're in drag because
And,
I'm just looking through my lashes. I
right.
don't remember that I'm in
Just
drag. So
seeing
I'm
the
like,
same, right. And you were
Denise,
literally
remember
like,
me?
you were like, I just met you yesterday or something like that. And I'm like, I don't know who you are. And then I was like, oh my God, wait a minute. I know who that is. I just didn't, we were like coming in and coming out of whatever.
That's how you know you're doing drag right, though, if people cannot
I
recognize
did
you at
not
all.
know.
Yeah.
I did not know. And yeah, so it's good to see you with our friends who watch will get a glimpse of what Melody looks like without being in drag. Of course, most of your friends probably already know that, but the rest of us are still getting a glimpse in. I would have to say, the part of the focus of my interviews on a lot of these podcasts are with folks who either grew up in the scene, grew up learning directly from the dead. I love the fact that you're even mentioning that Mike was learning from Rob Eden. You know what I mean? So this is how it trickles and it goes in, or ripples, we'll say, right?
Generational. Mm-hmm.
And that's such a beauty of the scene, it being that there are children of folks who went to dead shows and brought their children, and now the children, some of them rebel. I've seen go into the punk or the whatever else, and then they I'm seeing at the party and they're dancing. I'm like, well, of course, Denise, of course I love this music, I grew up on this. And I realize, we get there or we don't get there, but we go around about the way, however we go. And I think that those influences in our life as a musician are what we bring to a lot of the dead music that we play. So it helps to tour all around and get a bite of everything, and have a little bit of flavor that's your own, and a little bit of what you've picked up along the way. And that's what, like you said, you want to stand out a little bit in the crowd. There's so many Grateful Dead bands. Of course, your band's immediate standout, which is so nice. So is Brown Eyed Women, by the way, too, right? Because
Right.
of the nature of it being
Oh, yeah.
only, we are the only all-female tribute, but like you mentioned, China Dolls / American Beauties have a very female-centric band. I don't think they have a lead guitar player that does that. And I know Anna Elva, who I think initially put that band together with Jen Rund. I got to play with both of those women. Jen plays with Brown Eyed Women a lot now.
Cool. I know Anna very well.
Anna is so great. I can't wait to play another double drums show with her. She's a real,
we want to get Anna sitting in with us
yeah,
too.
good on you, because she is fantastic.
Yeah.
And I just love the fact that there are more and more women coming out as playing it. And because when I started to think about creating Brown Eyed Women, there weren't any at the time. Like I literally was like, how come there's no? Because I was watching Zepparella at the Tractor Tavern in Seattle, Washington, back when my friend Noelle Doughty was the lead singer, and I was like, how come there are no, all female Grateful Dead bands? And then I was like, because I'm the only one I know like me. And then 6 years, and then finally I heard of somebody else, and now there's a lot more. And I thank you for being in my club with me, because it's like sometimes it's very easy to recognize that it was a male dominated scene for Absolutely. A very long time. And what I loved, what was really special about, I went to play Dead of Summer Music Festival this couple weeks ago with Brown Eyed Women in Vermont, and Jerry's Middle Finger was playing, and they are beautiful band from they're in the California based band that does, Jerry Garcia band, right? A lot of that. And they have it broken down into the two backup singers, beautiful women singers that are just singing so well. And it gives you that church feeling, much like Melvin and the JGB did for Jerry Garcia did, for that feeling of church. It's like that was the different from the dead scene. But seeing the women that were playing on stage or singing on stage very much excites me. But then I look in the crowd, and where it used to be in the 90s, I remember a couple of the band members in the Deadbeats, like, if we could just get some women to show up at our shows, because it was a lot of men. And now it was a sea of young women dancing and raging to the Grateful Dead, well, to Jerry's Middle Finger, but it was at a Dead Fest. And I was so happy to see this, this change in this evolution of more and more women on the scene. I can remember bringing a girlfriend of mine at the time to see it was after Jerry died, so it was, whatever spinoff it was at the time. But she's like, Denise, you realize that, there's like mostly men here, and I never even saw it because I was just focused on the music and my good time. But it was true. There were a lot of men. And now I'm so jazzed. I'm so happy to see all the women come in and they're playing it and singing it like that Peggy-O that you sung. No, I've never heard that before. And I've been seeing a lot of people cover the Dead, but
The thing about Peggy-O that is really conflicting for me is that
oh,
it's quite a misogynistic kind of song.
yes.
And it's a traditional song. So I'm somebody who comes from bluegrass roots music, you know.
Okay.
I've sung Appalachian ballads, which were English ballads, you know.
Right. Right.
And Peggy-O comes from that really old tradition of
Yes.
ballads.
Yes.
And to me, it tells the story of almost like an incel situation where he's like, okay, well, if you reject me, I'm gonna burn down your
Yeah.
town.
Right. That's what that is the
It's really,
song.
it's hard to sing that as a woman, you know what I mean? And to make it feel reverent in the way that Jerry does it, you know, like
Yes.
it, because to me there's another layer of meaning to it. So I find that song, I'm a little conflicted about it sometimes,
I
but
understand.
part of what I like to bring to it is the sort of out of pocket rage, the rage and emotionality that this man is bringing to the situation. Men are so emotional. And, you know, he's having a temper tantrum because he's been rejected, you know?
Yes.
And then it's this poor me story of like, oh, see, you know, and then I died before you loved me, you
Yeah.
know?
Right. Right.
And it, some
Yeah.
people might not interpret it that way. To me, that's my reading the lyrics. A lot of these old ballads have sort of regressive things going on,
Yeah.
murder of women, you know,
Yeah.
for rejecting you. A lot
Oh,
of it's about being rejected by women and
yeah. Yeah.
butthurt about
You
it.
don't like me, you're dead.
Exactly. So that one's kind of tough for me. But it's also just that filling that Jerry vocal role on ballads. Like I
Yes.
also sing Stella Blue in the band.
Yes.
Oh, that song is scary
Yes.
because it has so much space and it's so big.
Yeah.
And for me, as someone who loves to play with vocals, I have to really write a line of not getting too far
Got
away,
it.
you know?
Sure. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's the it's a tough one. Mommy does Morning Dew, which you got a Morning Dew at
Yes.
Bearsville, and she just crushes that because
Yes.
it's
She,
understated for so much of the song. It's understated. It's this slow, slow burn.
yes.
But
Slow
the end,
burn.
she can
Well,
finally earn it and explode. You know?
yeah. Right.
Yeah, it gives me. Oh, I'm getting chills just thinking about it.
Yeah.
She's so amazing.
See, you both, your band, all of you, really are just incredible singers, incredible players. The way you read each other, the way you speak dynamically, and the way you blow it up. Really, there's just clarity in that blowing up factor that you have, and it's the skills are off the chain. It's very clear that you're all good individually, but collectively Bertha Grateful Drag is something that's really special, and it's it's nice to offer everybody a home. Okay, so in a world that we grew up in, I grew up in, there weren't lesbians on lot. I was the only one I knew for a long time, and so finding the crossover wasn't. I was the crossover, the
Mhm.
sole and only, and then it became like lonely. It became lonely, and I would have to say I loved doing all the things that we do as a queer community. I One of my partners and I used to produce something called Queer Stock here in the Woodstock area, and it was very much a live performance drag. We did drag at every show, burlesque, and live music. And yeah, sure, I'd be throwing in whatever song I wanted to sing. And if that was, Love Me Like a Man, or if it was something else. But the fact is, there was always this live performance energy. And then the drag was something that was so freeing for our community of folks that wanted to speak the way they want to be speaking, and they want to sing, and they want to present themselves the way that they feel. And I loved that in our queer stock community. I
Yeah.
didn't always feel that crossover in the Grateful Dead. And then little by little, like I started a Facebook group called Les Heads because I was like, well, maybe I'll find my next girlfriend there. But it was kind of like, lesbian deadheads. And there
Building
are,
and they will come.
They,
Am I right, Denise?
that's right. But you offer so many folks a home in our Grateful Dead world that maybe haven't felt it and haven't been able to celebrate that sort of thing and that side of themselves where they can come out and be who they are, whether it's queer or drag or just straight and loving the dead and want to go see a good show. Whatever it is, your home, you're building that home
Mm-hmm.
for. I got goosebumps right now because everybody wants a home. Everybody wants to go to something that they feel comfortable, and I've always felt that way in the Grateful Dead world, hands down. Always felt that way. But sure, I'd love to meet a woman there or something, but that's only since an evolution that's been in the 20 years of now. It's not
Well,
necessarily been that way.
so what's the way that I think about this is largely informed by my work with an organization called Bluegrass Pride.
Okay.
And so this is an org that started in 2016, 2017,
Okay.
to not, bring in queer folks into bluegrass, but to celebrate the queer folks who have always been in bluegrass.
That's right.
It's like we've always been here, right?
That's right.
We're here,
Yeah.
and we've always been here. And it's the same exact thing in the Grateful Dead scene. And so
Right.
seeing that magic work through Bluegrass Pride, which I'm on the board of that organization, we just did our first music camp, which was like a LGBTQ plus focused bluegrass camp.
Oh, wonderful. What's the name of the camp?
Camp Bluegrass Pride. We did it in Astoria, Oregon.
Okay.
And you can sign up next year if you want. I think it's gonna be in August.
Okay.
And just seeing that magic ripple through the bluegrass world.
Yes.
When there were people just staking a claim for like, hey, we're here, we're queer, we play bluegrass, we always have. We're not
Right.
carpet bagging into this joint.
Right.
We've always been here.
Right.
And so I feel that way about the Grateful Dead thing. And what's funny is that the Grateful Dead scene is already rainbow colored. It's
Yeah.
already men in
It's all the
certain
colors. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's already so vibrant, counterculture, hippie. And the fact that anyone ever thought it wasn't queer or gay, like,
Right.
doesn't make any sense to me because it's always been there and it's always been intrinsic to what it is, which is just radically accepting and joyful,
Radically accepting and joyful. Yeah. Bing, bing. I mean, that's exactly it.
So we're trying to kind of, if we're doing anything, I do think about like deep cultural work is something that I'm interested in doing at this point in my music career. And so that's hugely what Bertha is for me, is that
right.
I think it's bands can do more than just play music.
Yeah.
We can really be trying to push that envelope forward, to tell stories that haven't been told yet, to highlight parts of the music that people hadn't considered, and to
right.
bring our own perspective to it. And just by default of a lot of people in the band being queer, we are going to make Grateful Dead music the way that we do, and we're going to offer that perspective, and it's going to be subtle in some ways how it dawns on people,
right,
the context of this music and this scene, and how it can be so much more than maybe what it's been narrowed down to over the years.
Yeah, I love your perspective and the fact that you do shine lights in new areas, and even making me think during our conversation today about, I mean, I like to sing what I call the strong woman songs. So it's Jacaro or Staggerly or whatever. And even like a Ruben and Charisse, but like, Ruben's kind of playing Charisse, he's playing her. He's got Claire, sweet Ruby Claire on the side there. And he's like, so there is a side of this music that I've never acknowledged fully and that I'm seeing now. But I also recognize very much the storyteller role that I'm taking on. And it doesn't have to be my story. And I'm okay telling someone else's story, especially when it's got a great, hook or a great jam, or it gives us the time to really cut the rug and dance or whatever it is. If I'm on the floor, dance floor, I'm on stage. And that's a big, like a learning curve for me. I've had to look at things and really understand, but also what am I going to focus on and what am I going to highlight as a storyteller?
So the thing that I notice about Grateful Dead songs,
I
wouldn't say that they are like feminist necessarily. However, what I do think is feminist about Grateful Dead songs is there are so many songs with women as the title. And in
Right,
fact, the very first show that Bertha did, we could have argued forever about what the set list should be, so we just
right.
made a rule that it was going to be all the songs that are women's names or
Oh,
mention women.
wow.
So Brown Eyed
Nice.
Women, Women Are
Yeah.
Smarter, but also Sugar Magnolia, Sugar,
Right,
all
right.
the Scarlet
Althea
Begonias, right?
and Peggy. Right,
Althea.
right.
So um,
Bertha.
there are so many female characters in
Yes.
Grateful Dead music
Right.
that are so rich and complex and
Yeah.
actually have personalities. And the more that you learn rock music, that actually is so rare. Usually, hold on, hold on a second. My cat feeder is paying out the jackpot.
That's hysterical because mine just started before this. We started hit to record, and I was like, "Oh, I'm glad it happened now," because it says "I love you." Mine's my recorded
Oh.
voice.
If
Yeah,
you have a cat, get you a cat feeder because you can't be the person in charge of the food. They will never let you rest.
I
Um, so let's hear.
no, I have the feeder
You want to
right
see
there.
him? This is
Oh, hello,
Jonesy. It's
hello.
Jonesy.
Oh, sweet. What's the cat's name?
He's Jonesy.
Jonesy. All right.
All right, you can go.
Wow, little handsome devil.
He is a handsome devil, huh? He's
Right.
always dressed up, all dressed up with nowhere to go.
Yeah,
Um,
he's got that black suit on.
so anyway though, this is something I'm really passionate about. I think when you look overwhelmingly at rock and roll lyrics, you look at something like Led Zeppelin,
Right.
okay?
Yeah.
Um, these are completely one-dimensional objectifying views of women. The women in these songs may as well be anybody. It doesn't, they have no character, they have no, you know what I mean? There's
Yes.
no actual concern with who they are as people. And,
Okay.
and
Okay.
even when Grateful Dead songs are somewhat objectifying, Scarlet Begonias, it's like, oh, this hot girl walked in,
Yeah.
and
Right.
I'm interested, but I'm
Yeah.
a little intimidated.
Yeah.
Like, at least that has nuance,
Right.
and she's got style. She's
Yeah.
got pizzazz.
Right.
We care what genre of music she's into.
Right.
The
Right.
blues.
Yeah.
So like immediately these are far more fleshed out characters. And so
Yeah.
I really do appreciate that about Grateful Dead music. And women are often characters in the songs,
Yes.
They have so many great characters that are quirky and complicated and like a little morally dubious, you
Right.
know? And a
Right.
lot of them are women, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah. That's great perspective, Melody. I love that. I don't think I'd ever made that discovery in analyzing like titles, and then also other, of course there's going to be other bands that write about women and it's got a woman in the title and they are affectionate and loving, and also maybe describing a woman a little bit more in depth. But I do appreciate that understanding of how they are fleshing out the woman. And I think that a lot of the men in the Dead were romantic. Like I think that they truly did love women, and they truly did come from a space of recognizing, our gifts and wanting to talk more about that. And
We hope so, but
yeah,
I know better than to look too deeply into the dealings of any of my rock star heroes.
well,
You know what I mean?
they often say
Because
never meet your heroes or don't
yeah,
dive too deep. Yeah,
it'd
I
all be
understand.
canceled a few times over. So but I'm not really interested in that. We are
No,
the ones who are playing
no,
this music now.
right, right,
It's I say that
right.
with sadness. We've lost
Yeah,
most of the original members.
yes,
We still have a few that are playing music still, and
yeah,
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 it's a time of really like the really final changing of the guard right now, and I am so glad to see that there are these younger bands,
yes,
middle-aged bands in our case, who are carrying the torch
yeah.
in the future, and with such different perspectives.
That's the
Richly
beauty. Yeah,
different.
that's right. In your and your it's so fresh and so nice and so valid, and so it strikes a chord with me that really just resonates. And I feel like I love your perspective, and I thank you for bringing it to this pool, because there's a lot of perspectives, and I'm seeing more and more differences come out, and in the nuances being fleshed out and being what the focus is, your band to the top of that, and yeah, I really have to say it's this. I think the nature of so many dead bands in the world means that you want to find your way to stand out in the crowd, and I think that's what's kind of nice about of this new version of the bands that are coming out now or have been, over the last 10 years, is that they're focusing on something that's unique and making it like they have their own, but yet they all know the songs from the skeletal versions we learn them from, which goes verse, chorus, you do the solo, you go back, verse, chorus, bridge, whatever, right? And so there's your version. Maybe you're going to go into saying, oh, it's like Viola Lee off the Grateful Dead's debut album. Sure, you'll maybe pull that out as something. But then what you do with it is very much your own. And I can't say enough how much I love. Let me say that in a positive way. I love what Grateful Drag does, what Bertha Grateful Drag does. It's fire. It's pure fire. Then you add the fact that you're having fun up there, that you're connecting with folks who maybe haven't felt a home the way you're providing it for them. So, that moves me to I could cry right now of knowing what you do for my queer community and how much I love that, and offering just a new perspective on something, that we all love anyway. So I just welcome that in my world, and you are at the tops of that. So thank you, Melody, for doing all that with your band, and thank your band. I can't say enough things.
We're friends. They know you. They know you love us, and we love you too.
And of course, I'm going to be where are you going to be when I'm going to be in Nashville with Brown Eyed Women? You're going to be somewhere else, another festival, I think you told me, or something. It's September 26th.
Yeah, I believe we are in.
Oh, you're going to be. Well, I'm going to see you the weekend.
Minneapolis.
Oh, nice. Okay, good. That's good. Look at you, just pulled that out. Very good.
I was looking it up for our tour manager, Britta. I saw her last night, and she lives in Minneapolis.
Okay.
So I got to go see pro wrestling for the first time in my life last night.
It's great.
As Bertha's tour manager, Britta, when she's not doing Bertha, she works with AEW, which is All Elite Wrestling, which is it's kind of an up and coming thing, a competitor to the WWE.
Okay.
It's like big time pro wrestling.
Nice.
And they tour, and it was so fun. And it was just drag for
It's a show. It's a drag show. That's right. It really is.
It was so fun. And it was ballet. They're dancing. They're doing these ridiculous choreographed fights.
Yeah.
It was so dang entertaining. I had a blast. The costumes were like to die for.
Oh, yeah.
Every single one of them for Bertha. So that was an experience. Like a few of us Berthas who happened to be in town.
That's great.
She got us on the list, and that was incredible.
But you're going to be, not to interrupt you, but you're going to be at the Cap. You're going to do that thing where you're, I had you down. I thought maybe it was Garcia's, but now your support at the Cap for, what is it again that night? I only remember, I only have
Talking Fish and Friends.
Yes. Right.
Like a all-star tribute thing.
Yeah.
So a bunch of friends that we know are going to be there. I think Kanika Moore is going to be there.
Nice.
So that'll be exciting, getting to play the Cap like main stage for the first time.
Yes.
Big, and
I'm going to be there.
Come out. Yeah.
Say what? Who's coming out?
I think a lot of Bertha fans will come out for us.
Yeah.
And also Pink Talking Fish.
I've
seen them before. They're incredible.
Yes. I saw them. We met on Jam Cruise. They were on that same show, on the same cruise that you played on.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think
you meet them there.
To see them on Jam Cruise because I think we're kind of up against them.
Oh yeah.
But I got to see them at Cave Jam.
Oh, okay.
Down here at the Caverns in Tennessee. So yeah, Bertha is on tour this whole fall. We're hitting a lot of places. I know we haven't come to Kansas yet. I'm sorry. There's a few places where people are like, "When are you coming?" And I'm like, sorry, we're mostly it's the Northeast, and a little West Coast run, so
nice.
And a little bit of Midwest. We're doing.
What's the website for the band? What's the website for the band?
GratefulDrag.com.
GratefulDrag.com.
Bertha's our name. Grateful Drag's our game.
Okay, got it. And then what about you, Melody? You have a MelodyWalker.com or?
I think it's melodywalker.com at this point.
Okay.
My .com is not super on it. Just follow me on Instagram. That's
Yes.
mostly where I'm doing
Got
my
it.
thing.
Melody writes songs. Right.
Also,
I
Denise,
keep
I don't
saying
have a
I'd love to come to one of your songwriting camps. I just need a week off that collides with, or it coincides, I should say, with your camp.
yeah. Also, if you know of any camps up there, Denise, in like the Woodstock area, I'd love to come do something upstate. That would be cool. I'm sure there's some kind of songwriting camps up there. I'm just not tapped into that scene.
There's something called Full Moon, and it's they often do camps. I know the owners, and they're the sweetest of sweets. And they do camps like all the time, all through summer, fall. So it's let's see, I'll look that up and I'll tell you. But Full Moon's a great place. It's in Big Indian, New York, which is about 25 minutes away from me here. And I would be at that camp. Maybe we can do a camp together there. Talk to me about how you got started playing dead and where you got on the bus.
Yeah, myself and Caitlin, mommy Bertha, we are both California girls. I grew up in the Bay Area. She grew up in Fresno, and we both got into this music kind of by being Californian, first of all.
Right.
Second of all, from our folks growing up. So her dad's big Deadhead. My dad loves the Dead. He wouldn't call himself a Deadhead. He wasn't following him around. He wasn't. He. It turns out he did go to some shows though. He just doesn't. He's like, oh, I don't deserve that cred of being a Deadhead. So he's a songwriter and a musician, and a bluegrass musician. So I grew up hearing him and his friends jam Grateful Dead songs in that more Old and in the Way style, in that old more Reckoning style, that
great
Jerry and Dog style.
Right.
So I grew up around the music from that more acoustic music entry point.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of people got into acoustic music from the Dead. Thank goodness, like
yeah,
they basically fostered like another bluegrass renaissance.
Yeah.
So it's really cool how there's this crossover between bluegrass and the Dead, and it still is this like love affair to this day. Like the Traveling McCurries will do Dead covers.
Yes.
When Keith Hines, who's a friend of mine, a fiddle player from Molly Tuttle's band, and now she's on her own doing stuff. We've written some songs together. Bronwyn, she does like Loose Lucy. She does another Dead tune too, and she does some Fish tunes.
Great.
It's just really cool how there's always this Dead component in there. And that'll never die. And I hope that Billy Strings comes back to it too, because Billy is a friend of ours. It was in our peer group when we moved to Nashville.
Oh, nice.
Billy Strings and Molly Tuttle were living together at the time in a rental over here in East Nashville, and we literally stayed in their guest room when we first moved to town.
Oh, wow.
So it's all a big family, and Billy has stopped playing Dead tunes because people were getting really demanding about it, and we're like, Billy needs to be in Dead and Co. and all this stuff, and he's like, no, I'm doing my own thing, and so he's like, I'm gonna do my own thing. But I did see him do a Dead tune, like sit in with someone recently, so I hope he's gonna like come back to it, especially now that there's like a little bit of a vacuum.
Yes.
Dead and Co. is I don't know if it's dead, but it's not.
Right.
We don't know what's happening with Dead and Co. right now. So there's room for more continuation of the Dead story. I hope that Billy does it. Gillian Welch and David Rawlings have thrown their hat in the ring.
That was so
Went
great.
And saw that show the first night of the whole tour here in Nashville. They were like nervous, but it was so mind-blowingly good. And I've always known that they're Deadheads.
Yeah.
And I've talked to them a couple times, backstage at things
about
it. Would love to get them sitting in with Bertha.
Wow.
I think it'd be really hilarious if we could get them in drag as each other.
That's great.
Wouldn't that be so good? Gil and Dave swapped.
I want to see that. I want to be at that show.
I want to see that for personal reasons. That's great. Anyway.
Well, so you got your roots. You grew up with it, and it seems like it's a part of you. Your mentality and in acoustic music and bluegrass, that's very much the founding or the beginnings of the Grateful Dead is where that kind of started. I mean, it was like, and
it's still there. It's been a continuous thread.
Yeah, and that's what I loved about even after Jerry's death, even Bobby would go and play like acoustic guitar, and Blue Mountain, the whole all of that evolution, it all lands still with acoustic music. And I mean, I play acoustic in the Deadbeats duo. I love playing acoustic guitar because it's very much the roots of it all. And but you know, it's nice to see where trees grow from their roots, and then you know, you have the benefits of that fruit on that tree.
Totally. Okay, so how I got into Electric Dead though. Uh,
Okay.
you know, I'm 41 years old, and when Sublime came out with, I think it's their self-titled album, there's a great version of Scarlet
Yeah.
Begonias that Brad Knoll did. It's incredible. He's such a great singer, and obviously was so reverent of the dead.
Yes.
Um, and that version is where I first heard Scarlet Begonias.
Yeah.
And I had, you know, American Beauty and Working Man's Dead tapes in my car that I
Yeah.
listened to constantly in high school. But
Right.
that Sublime version of that song and how live it is too. Sublime was such a like live jammy band
Yeah.
that really got me into like the excitement of
Yeah.
live devil may care kind of what's going to happen next thing about
Yeah.
it. And then, you know, I was still hesitant to get into listening to live dead music because as someone who is a musician who went to music school and stuff, you know, you're taught to execute and to do it right. And that's the thing you're trying to do. And so Grateful Dead music live recordings are really challenging to listen to, I think, if you're really in that mode of trying to figure out how to like play things one way and do it right.
Yeah.
And
Because
so I
they
think
don't
I had
have
a
one way.
complicated relationship to it for a while because
Yeah.
they really would ride the edge, and sometimes you're listening and you're like, what is going on? Get it together, guys. And so for me, that was like not that enjoyable. But the older I get as a musician, you know, I
Okay.
really, really appreciate the magic in that. And I
Yeah.
see exactly what they were doing and how you don't get those sweet fruits and rewards if you don't risk it all
Yeah.
and
There's
go
right.
way out.
They're out on the tightrope, and sometimes they fell, and sometimes they soared through the sky. You know,
Exactly.
and
And it's
I
just
yeah,
a
I would
different approach.
I love that the most about them is that they went for it, and
Mm-hmm.
I remember being at MSG or wherever venue it was and seeing like you know, everybody wobbled a little because it was like, where are they going? Bobby's over there, but Brent's over there, and Jerry's over there, and it's like, and then they all just hit it, you know, and it was just like, whoa, the relief of that tension. You know, the whole crowd would light up because we knew and we were there. We were like, wait, where are we gonna go? You know.
And by the way, the whole audience is placing their faith in them and like
Yes.
speaking out these vibes to them
Yeah.
of like we believe in you that you're gonna
Yes.
find the jam and find the
Yes.
way. And so they do. It's all this the coolest thing about dead audiences is they are locked in. They
Yes.
are like I'm giving you energy, you're giving me energy. It's a
Right.
feedback loop and like it all works together in that way.
Right.
Just at a dead show and at a Bertha show too. There's nobody standing in the back just being like,
I've never seen anybody like that.
"Oh, well, you never been to East Nashville to a rock
No.
show then." But
Well, if
just
you don't want to
people
be here, you can go.
skeptically
There's the
standing in the
door.
back. So
Yeah.
that's not happening, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's like it's kind of like Peter Pan, you know, with the fairies. Like you got to believe in the fairies and clap your hands, you know, and that's how it all happens, you know.
That's how it all
So we
happened.
all believe in magic collectively, and it
It's the
happens.
right. It's the relationship between the fans and the band and the crowd and the stage and that as I call it that volley that goes back and forth. It's very much a trust thing. It's very much a willingness to have the partnership
Mhm.
and the awareness of each other, like you're saying. I mean, I
Oh,
think they
it's presence. It's almost like
complete.
a spiritual, a Zen meditation together.
Yeah.
It's like we're all in this present moment together, and we're practicing presence.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there is magic in that. And I think there is something that is in the zeitgeist right now that this world could really learn from that energy.
Yes.
And while I think like obviously any live show has that element of give and take, and where the audience is feeding back with the performer,
Right.
but I think that Grateful Dead music is showing that on such an amplified level. Um,
Nice.
it's really like it's a really radical expression of how an audience and a band can interact. I think it's just on a high level, and I think I think that if you, it's also kind of a cult. If you get it, you get it. It's esoteric. You have to be like initiated into this, and then once you're in it, you're like you get what that is, and you're
Yeah.
chasing this dragon of this like energy
Right.
exchange constantly. And
Right.
when you're gonna have those like special peak moments in a jam, where everybody just feels it together,
Right.
which is really cool. I mean, that's like church, right?
That is
So
well said. That's excellent. I think we got a great interview, and I thank you for your time today. I just wanted to be able to talk with you and have, others in on it. And I think this is a beautiful example of why I like to do this kind of podcast, is because we're understanding folks who do cover the dead. And, you're leading the way in creating a space that's a family for folks to come, that is in maybe in a different light, and that's so important in this world to offer that to folks. So I commend you all for doing that, and I thank you all for providing a space for me and my friends to come out and get our drag on, or get our whatever it is, but listen to our favorite band, Grateful Dead songs. You know what I mean? So I thank you for that, and your full band, all of the members of the band, and I'm just so appreciative that you took the time to chat with me today, Melody, and I thank you for it.
thanks for
So
asking.
I'm going to say goodbye, and then we're going to stop recording, and then we're going to say goodbye again. Okay.
Okay.
All right. All
All
right.
right.
Melody Walker, everybody. Thank you so much for being with me today.